presentation for Group 10. Our case study is Lisa Caruso. The group members are Arpit Mandanathu John, Christy John Abraham, Manan Arora, and Gurpreet Guru. Let's start with the case summary. In manufacturing operations, we can see that machine shop, fabrications, and welding, assembly, and painting were all key departments of the plant. A maintenance and repair department, as well as a repair parts storage room, were also available at the plant. Engineering, manufacturing, human resource and accounting, and finance, sales, and purchasing were among the 6 areas where non-union, hourly workers, and 30 employees worked. When it came to the purchasing and stores, we can see that Lisa was in charge of a 6-person team that included a buyer, 3 stockroom clerks, a shipper or receiver, and a material planner. The total amount spent was around 28 million. The total inventory ranged from 1.2 million to $3 million. The stores operated on a variation of minimum maximum system. The number of orders placed on varies depending on the season. Lisa was anxious to avoid holding excess inventory near the end of the season and would strive to order only in sufficient amounts to meet demand until September. In a typical day's operation, the manufacturing shift begins at 7 a.m. The stockroom clerks opens the storage area at 8 a.m. dealt with requisitions as they came in, and as time allowed, packed away the parts trays from the previous night shift and started assembly of new part trays for the second shift that day. The other point is that they constructed kits of parts for finished loaders, leaving the plant were typically expected to be provided between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. Workers were also expected to place orders for parts for the next day's shift at the end of their shift. The stockroom clerks left at 1:30 a.m., but production continued until 3:30 a.m. During the absence of the stockroom clerk, the night shift supervisors access the stockroom as needed, and before shutting up the plant at the conclusion of the shift, they returned the part trays and left list stating requirements for the following evening shift. And the problems with the current system is as follows. The first one is that inventory records and real stockroom bin counts were frequently out of sync. The second one, shortage led in an unusually high number of urgent orders, forcing purchasing to purchase parts at exorbitant prices in limited amounts, causing supplier relations to deteriorate. Overworked stockroom clerks were voicing their dissatisfaction, that is, to catch up and take inventory of the high value items. They were regularly compelled to work extra during the week or on Saturdays. The other point is that Lisa observed that the stockroom issue was causing inefficiencies and interrupting administrative process in the plant. And David Morrison, speaking at a recent management meeting, predicted a 15% increase in the sales for the following season. Thank you. The next section will be taken by my other colleagues.
Learning outcomes. An improved recording of the inventories is required in Morrison. From the case, it can be concluded that the discrepancies in the stockroom records were because of poor inventory management. Well-managed inventories contribute to better uses of the company's resources because they prevent losses, since it gives a good account of each resource. Another main problem purchasing department is facing due to last-minute rush orders, and due to that, they must buy higher price product, which resulted in extra cost of 10,000 per month. Demand forecasting is not being done properly. For the requirements, they depend on workers. Workers tell them daily demand for the next day, which is creating problem for the clerk. Demand is not being met. Demand forecasting is not being done properly and relying on workers for part requirement for the following day at the end of their shift. Proper planning needs to be done. If proper planning is done in demand forecasting, it will solve all the problems they are facing. It will increase their profits and distribute workload. Improper function of the stockroom. The stockroom cost incorporates the misfortunes because of the greater price tag and ineffective season of the work. Main success factor of Morrison. Main factor of Morrison are well-engineered, high-quality, sturdy product line. Their construction equipments were of premium brand, which is their competitive advantage over large manufacturer. Their products are more reliable and of high quality. Other success factor is keeping things simple and low overhead cost. Thank you.
Cost topics that the case is related to. The case highlights that forecast, cost, availability, and price volume relationship and the shortages are the key factors that complicate quantitative decisions. Next topic that is related to case is EOQ, that is economic order quantity formula that helps a company to identify how much inventory is sufficient to meet the need of customer and determine country's inventory reorder point. Next is ERP, that is enterprise resource software that integrates business system and processes and can provide efficient analysis and report of orders, inventory, forecast, and demand. Next is inventory cost. That is the most substantial factor in the success of the business, and it is calculated as ordering or purchasing cost plus setup cost plus stock out cost and variations in the delivery cost. Recommendation based on the case. The company ought to make clever use of enterprise resource software that is already set up to drag up stock reports, examine historical data, forecast demands, and plan and schedule for the upcoming orders. Next recommendation is timing for the stockroom clerk must be adjusted to develop with production shift timing so that stockroom clerk is purely answerable for stockroom rather than supervising on the night shift. The third recommendation based on the case is that the company should appoint a new stockroom clerk to give real-time picture of the stock so that purchasing does not have to pay higher prices to buy the parts to satisfy the rush orders. This would help in saving cost and time and also help in enhancing the productivity. The fourth recommendation based on the case is that bargaining with vendors based on the volume to align with economic order quantity value for the customer. The next recommendation is that there must not be any stock movement in the absence of stock clerks to avoid discrepancies between the inventory orders and actual stock room bin counts. Thank you.